Hello everybody, this is the Daydreamer with Daydreams and Nightmares, and this is my video entry into Freddy's, or the Deez Doom 200 subscriber contest with Freddy's 562 and the Doom 143. They have both made separate videos, are offering up prizes of their own and then one grand prize. They made two separate videos themselves, but are only asking that you make one in order to enter the contest. They each asked their own questions and asked you to answer them in one video. Doom 143 is asking, what is an artist that you appreciate? And just like with any question asking you what is your favorite, it is really hard to narrow it down to one single artist. Pull this back a little bit here. There we go. I am going to show you several different artists here in multiple comic books, and hopefully I can answer that question with several answers. I think most people's favorites are influenced by the genre or the period of time when they were growing up and getting into comic books. For me, that was back in the 80s and 90s, and that's when most of my comic books are. I have been out of the comic book game for about 15 years. I had a lot of money to spend on, well, not a lot of money, but I had money to spend on comic books back in 80s and 90s. That's when I was in high school and in college and didn't have a whole lot of bills to worry about, but then life set in. I had to pay back those student loans, pay rent, and suddenly I didn't have the money to spend on comic books. So that's one of the things that had to go. Although I did hang on to a lot of them, I sold off about half what I have. So I'm trying to go through the boxes that I have, figure out what it is I still have. One of the things that I truly did get into in the comic books when I first started out was Vertigo, and that's what you're looking at right now is a Sandman comic book. Actually, this is a trade paperback. I can't afford these first 10 comic books. I've been trying to track them down, see if I can find anything out there. I would like to, if I have a grail of any kind, it would probably be trying to put together the entire Sandman comic book line. Like I said, I'm not sure what I still have in my collection. I think I might have, at least in this one, I think I might have 9 and 10. But like I said, I'm still trying to figure out what I have. I'm going through all the boxes. But I was at the my local comic book store, which isn't exactly local. It's about an hour away. And I picked this up. They were having a sale. I actually got this at 30% off. Couldn't pass up the deal. I just saw Cat D do a review on this and got me excited to read it again. So I picked this up. I'm going to reread these stories, but I'm kind of rambling here. The reason why I'm showing you this is Neil Gaiman is one of my favorite storytellers. He's done movies, TV shows, written books, done things for all over the place, including comic books. And the stories that he has told couldn't have been done as well if they hadn't been the artist hadn't done as good of a job as his storytelling. Here, the ones that are featured in these first 10 books here are Sam Keith, Mike Dringenberg, and Malcolm Jones III, who contributed to these first set, and I really do enjoy both the artistry, including the actual the covers on all of these books too, are done by Dave McKean, who does a lot of found object and mixed media art as well that I think is really, really interesting, intriguing. I am not probably going to be showing you anything Golden Age. I know that a lot of folks like Alan Moore and Ditko and Jack Kirby and think they are among the best artists out there, and I agree. But I didn't really. I don't have much of theirs, and I haven't had is I didn't grow up reading those comic books, so I don't have as much of a they're not as in my forefront of being favorites. And same goes for any of the artists in the last, say, 15 years. And I've seen covers by several people that have shown names that pop out are Jacques and Cho are some that have shown off that people really like as artists. And I'm not familiar with any of their work, so they're not going to show up here either. I'm hoping that I get caught up and have an opportunity to see some of those. But anyway, we're going to continue on here. Besides these three artists here, there's another one that's worked with Neil Gaiman that I really do like as an artist. That's Chris Bachalo, who did some of the work on the mini series for Death, The High Cost of Living. On this particular one, I have all four, just showing this one here, as well as the Children's Crusade, which was also a mini series as well, and that had some crossovers into the other storylines like Swamp Thing and Animal Man and books of the Arcane. Okay, going on to the next artist. I think that one of the reasons why I'm showing some of these too is because I think these folks also had some impact on the comic world, at least when I was reading the comic books. Todd McFarlane has had a huge impact on the comic world, collectible toys. He's done things across the board as well with comics. This is one of the more iconic ones that he's done. There's like 4 different versions of this particular cover, and I have several of them. One of them is signed that I have, but I think that he had a big impact on the rebirth of the Spider-Man comic books because of his artwork and also his influence on the Spawn as well. Another artist that I really like and I've mentioned in another video from this area of the country is Eric Larson, who helped draw and create Savage Dragon. Several comic books here. And I'm not sure if this was a variant or this was a short run, but they're both number 1s here. And last but not least, probably my most controversial one. Some don't like the way he draws, some do. I think he's had a big, huge impact as well as one of the co-founders of Image, and that would be Rob Liefeld. I have several of these as well. Actually, these are signed copies of the New Mutants. He's got a signature right up here. He came on towards the end of the New Mutants run and the introduction of Cable. At number 96 here. Also signed by him right here. And number 97 of the New Mutants, and that one's signed right over here. Okay. I need to move this along or this video is going to be extremely long. We're going to go back to this one because of the next question. And I think I answered the question, what is the hardest book you've had to look for? That's Freddy's 562's question. Like I said, once again, trying to track down all the comic books for the Sandman series has probably been one of the more challenging comic books for me to track down and try to put together that run for me. And like I said, I'm not 100% certain what I have anymore. I might have sold some of them off. I may still have some I said, but when I'm getting back into it, I'm going to look into it. But I know, like I said, a nice copy of #1 is like $2 or $3 grand. So the likelihood of me getting my hands on that one is probably slim to none. And for the last question, Freddy562 was asking the question, the controversial question of slab or no slab. I'm going to answer it in several different ways here. I think there is a place for slabbing. If you are into comic cover art and that is what you are into, and you really like just the covers, just the artistry, and you're not planning on reading the comic book, that is one of the big reasons why you would. I mean, if you're just going to look at the cover anyway and not open the book, that would be a good reason to slab it. If you're trying to preserve a comic book that you're not going to open up or play with because there's a signature. Now, this one I have here is signed by Todd McFarlane on the inside, and I would slab this myself but the problem is that if I do that, then I don't have access to the signature. I may do it anyway, but haven't made that decision. Part 2 to my answer is going to be this. Some comic books come out like this. This is X-Force #1. This comic book was issued in a bag. It is got a collector's card on the inside, and the inherent value of this comic book is in the fact that it's still sealed in the bag with the card. So if you want to retain the value of a comic book that you're never going to open because it's in a sealed bag, and you're never going to read it, and you're never going to open it, I can't see the point why you wouldn't slab something like this, because you know you're not going to open it up. All you're going to see is the cover anyway. I don't know if this particular one's valuable enough to put in a slab, but once again, the inherent value in this is the fact that it is still in a sealed bag with its cards. So that is another type of situation where I think maybe slabbing is in the best interest of the comic book as well, even more so if it has a really good cover on it. And my third answer is when you start getting into Golden Age comics, putting them in a slab is actually essentially sealing them up. I don't know if you can see how well this one is holding up. The paper on here is yellowing quite a bit because of its age. This is Thor #146, selling for 12 cents, which would be nice to actually pay these days for a comic book. But anyway, this is Thor #146, Golden Age comic book. But because it is yellowing, I think maybe if I were to slab this, it would probably slow down the process of aging. And if you get into comic books of this age, I think that maybe slabbing them is probably more beneficial to the comic book itself. And I have another one here as well, Thor #144, and the same thing. It's just that the age of these things and the paper that they're on, they're starting to yellow, so that the condition of them is degrading. That maybe by sealing them up in a slab is the best way to go with these things. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's probably one of the longer ones I've made. Just wanted to show off some comic books and answer those questions. If you like the video, click subscribe down below and like as well. Check out both Freddy's562 and Doom-143. I will leave their information in the description down below. Go check out their contest, and thank you.